When self-made millionaire Liam Hayes climbed into a cab on a stormy Manhattan night, he never imagined the driver would be Jasmine Carter, the woman whose heart he'd shattered 2 years ago when he chose his empire over her love. But fate wasn't done with them yet because Jasmine was 6 months pregnant and the baby wasn't his. Stranded together when the cab broke down, old feelings ignited faster than the lightning outside, until one rainy night when Liam's wealthy mother walked through the door, saw Jasmine's belly, and accused her of being a gold-digging trap. In that moment, Liam froze, and his hesitation cost him everything. What happened next will make you believe in second chances or break your heart trying. If you've ever loved someone who had to choose between you and their pride, subscribe right now and drop a comment telling me, would you have given him another shot or walked away forever? The rain hit the windshield like angry fists. Jasmine Carter gripped the steering wheel tighter and squinted through the blur. Her yellow cab crept forward in the Manhattan traffic. Brake lights glowed red everywhere she looked. 9:40 at night. Her shift had 3 more hours to go. Her back ached. Her feet throbbed in her worn sneakers. The baby pressed against her ribs like a tiny fist, reminding her, I'm here, Mama. I'm always here. 6 months along now. The bump was impossible to hide anymore. She pulled to the curb outside a fancy hotel on 5th Avenue. The doorman waved. A man in an expensive suit jogged toward her cab, his umbrella fighting the wind. Jasmine unlocked the doors. Water rushed in with him, cold and sharp. Thank you, the man said, breathless. He pulled the door shut and shook his umbrella. Droplets sprayed everywhere. Sorry about that, this storm came out of nowhere. Where to? Jasmine asked. She didn't look back yet. She was searching for the next gap in traffic. Brooklyn Heights, Montague Street. His voice hit her like a slap. She knew that voice. Deep and smooth, a voice that used to whisper her name in the dark. Her hands froze on the wheel. Slowly, so slowly, she turned to look in the rearview mirror. Blue eyes met hers, wide with shock. Jasmine? Her heart forgot how to beat. Liam? For 3 seconds, neither of them moved. The rain drummed on the roof. A horn blared behind them. She jerked back to reality and pulled into traffic. Her hands shook. Her mouth went dry. Liam Hayes. After 2 years of silence, 2 years of trying to forget, and here he was, in her cab, on the worst possible night. I didn't know you were driving, he said softly. I didn't know you drove cabs. Yeah, well. Her voice came out harder than she meant. People change jobs. I'm sorry, I didn't mean... He stopped, started again. How have you been? She almost laughed. How have I been? Where did she even start? Fine, she lied. You? Good. Busy. The company's doing well. Of course it was. Liam had always been brilliant with business. That's why he'd left her behind. Work first. Always work first. She felt his eyes on her in the mirror, studying her. Then his gaze dropped lower, to where her belly pressed against the steering wheel. She saw the exact moment he noticed. His face went pale. His mouth opened, closed, opened again. Jasmine, are you... Yes, she said quickly. Too quickly. 6 months. Silence filled the cab like floodwater. She didn't owe him explanations. They'd broken up 2 years ago. He'd chosen his empire over her heart. What she did after that was none of his business. But she could feel the questions hanging in the air between them. Is it mine? Why didn't you tell me? Who's the father? Congratulations, Liam said finally. His voice sounded hollow. That's wonderful. She didn't answer, just focused on the road. The wipers swept back and forth, back and forth. They squeaked with every pass. So, you're happy? He asked. Everything's good? Everything's fine. Another lie. Nothing was fine. Her savings were almost gone. Her mom worried herself sick every day. The baby's father, well, that was its own mess. A brief, stupid relationship that had ended badly 3 months ago. But Liam didn't need to know any of that. She merged onto the bridge. The rain came down harder now, thick sheets of water that made the road disappear. The wiper on the driver's side started making a horrible grinding sound. You need to get that looked at, Liam said. Thanks for the tip. She heard him wince at her tone. Good. Let him feel uncomfortable. Let him squirm. A truck roared past on the left. Its tires threw up a wall of water that crashed over the cab like a wave. For a second, Jasmine couldn't see anything at all, just grey and black, and the glow of red lights somewhere ahead. Her heart jumped into her throat. The wiper screeched one more time, then stopped moving completely. No, 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 Jasmine whispered. She hit the wiper control. Nothing. She hit it again. Still nothing. Half the windshield was a waterfall now. She could barely see the lane markers. Jasmine, I know. She eased her foot off the gas. Cars honked as they swerved around her. She put on her hazard lights and moved carefully toward the shoulder. The cab rolled to a stop. Rain hammered the roof like 1,000 tiny drums. Jasmine dropped her head against the steering wheel. Of all the nights, of all the possible passengers. Why him? Why now? Liam sat frozen in the back seat. His heart pounded so hard he thought Jasmine might hear it over the rain. She was pregnant. The woman he'd loved more than breathing was sitting 3 feet away from him. Pregnant, and she hadn't called, hadn't texted, hadn't said a word, because it wasn't his. The math was simple. They'd broken up 2 years ago. She was 6 months along. That meant someone else. She'd moved on with someone else. The thought drove into his chest like a blade. "I'll call a tow truck," Jasmine said. Her voice was tight, controlled. "You can get out here if you want. Catch another cab when one comes by. I'm not leaving you alone on a bridge in the middle of a storm," Liam said. The words came out sharper than he meant. "I don't need a hero, Liam. I know you don't, but I'm staying anyway." She made a frustrated sound in her throat, grabbed her phone, started dialing. Liam watched her in the dim glow of the dashboard lights. She looked tired, beautiful, but tired. Her hair was pulled back in a simple ponytail, no makeup, dark circles under her eyes. She'd always been stunning. Even now, even exhausted, she took his breath away. "Yeah, hi," she said into the phone. "I need a tow. I'm on the Brooklyn Bridge, about halfway across. Yellow cab number 472. She listened, sighed. "How long?" "Okay, fine, thanks." She hung up and closed her eyes. "How long?" Liam asked. 45 minutes, maybe an hour." She laughed without humor. Lucky cars rushed past in the other lanes. Each one sent spray against the windows. The cab rocked slightly in the wind. Liam's mind raced. An hour stuck here with her. An hour of this crushing silence. He had to say something. Anything. "Why are you driving nights?" The question slipped out before he could stop it. Jasmine's jaw tightened. "Because it pays better, and I need the money." "Is the baby's father—" He stopped. It wasn't his business. It wasn't his right to ask. But Jasmine answered anyway. "Gone," she said flatly. "He left when I told him I was keeping the baby. Said he wasn't ready to be a father." She stared straight ahead at the rain-soaked windshield. "Turns out I'm good at picking men who run away." The words hit like a punch. Liam deserved that. He knew he deserved that. He'd run too. Not from a baby, but from her. From them. He'd buried himself in work and told himself it was necessary. Told himself he'd make it up to her later. Once the company was stable. Once he'd proven himself. But later never came, and she'd gotten tired of waiting. "I'm sorry," he said quietly, "about him leaving. That's awful." She shrugged, one shoulder lifting and falling. "It is what it is. And your mom, is she helping?" "She's trying, but she's got her own health stuff. She can't—" Jasmine cut herself off, shook her head. "It doesn't matter. We'll be fine. Me and the baby. We don't need anyone." The "we" hit him hard. She wasn't alone anymore. She had someone else to think about now. A horn blasted behind them. A driver leaned out his window and shouted something ugly before roaring away. Jasmine flinched. Her hand went to her belly, protective, automatic. Liam felt a surge of anger at the stranger, at himself, at the whole impossible situation. "Why didn't you call?" The question burst out of him. "When you needed help, why didn't you call me?" She finally turned to look at him, really look at him. Her eyes were hard. "Because you made it clear where I ranked in your life, Liam. Work came first, always. I wasn't going to beg for scraps of your attention. Not then. Not now. That's not fair, isn't it?" Her voice rose slightly. "You cancelled our anniversary dinner for a conference call. You forgot my birthday because of a merger. You fell asleep during the only movie night we had in 3 months. I was lonely in a relationship, Liam. Do you know how that feels?" He did. Now he did. Because he'd been lonely every day since she left. "I was building something," he said weakly. "I thought if I could just build an empire." She shook her head. "You did. Congratulations. But you built it alone." The rain poured down. Inside the cab, the silence roared louder. Liam opened his mouth, closed it. What could he say? She was right. About all of it. Jasmine winced suddenly. Her hand pressed harder against her belly. "What's wrong?" Liam leaned forward, alarm shooting through him. "Nothing, just the baby's kicking." She breathed slowly, in and out. "Probably doesn't like all the stress. Should we call someone? A doctor?" "It's fine. I'm fine." But her voice shook just slightly. Headlights flooded the cab. The tow truck had arrived early. Thank God. Jasmine gathered her things quickly, shoved her phone in her pocket, grabbed her bag from the passenger seat. "Wait here," she told Liam. "I'll talk to the driver." She climbed out into the rain. Liam watched through the water-streaked window as she spoke with a man in coveralls. They gestured at the cab, at the dead wiper, at the traffic rushing past. Finally, she came back, soaked, shivering. "He's taking the cab to the garage," she said. "We need to find another way home." "I'll call a car," Liam said immediately. He pulled out his phone. "I can manage. Please." He looked at her, really looked at her. "Let me help. Just this once. Please." She hesitated. He could see her pride warring with her exhaustion. Finally, she nodded. The diner was small and bright and warm, the kind of place that stayed open all night for people with nowhere else to go. Jasmine slid into a corner booth. Every part of her ached. Her clothes were damp, her hair dripped onto her shoulders, but at least she was out of the rain. Liam sat across from her. He looked uncomfortable in the cheap plastic seat. His expensive suit seemed wrong here, like a peacock in a chicken coop. A waitress appeared with 2 menus and a pot of coffee. "Just decaf for me," Jasmine said. "And some water, please." "Coffee's fine," Liam added. "Black." The waitress nodded and shuffled away. They sat in awkward silence. The diner hummed with quiet conversation from other late-night customers. A trucker at the counter, a nurse still in scrubs, a young couple holding hands and sharing fries. "You still take your coffee the same way?" Liam asked. "Can't have caffeine while pregnant." Jasmine picked up her menu even though she wasn't hungry. She just needed something to do with her hands. "Right, of course." More silence. This was torture, being this close to him again, remembering what they'd had, what they'd lost. The waitress returned with their drinks. Jasmine wrapped both hands around her water glass. The cold felt good against her palms. "I kept your photo," Liam said suddenly. She looked up. "What?" "After we broke up. I kept your photo. The one from that weekend we went to the beach, you're laughing in it, sand in your hair, that yellow dress you loved." He stared down at his coffee. "I look at it sometimes, when I'm working late and the office is empty." Jasmine's throat went tight. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I need you to know." His blue eyes met hers across the table. "Letting you go was the biggest mistake of my life." Her heart twisted. She wanted to believe him, wanted to reach across the table and take his hand and say, "Me too, I missed you too, I never stopped." But she couldn't. She had more than herself to think about now. "It doesn't matter," she said softly. "What we had, it's gone, Liam. We can't go back, I know." He looked miserable. "But maybe we could start new, as friends." Friends. The word felt wrong in her mouth. You didn't just become friends with someone you'd loved that deeply. But what choice did she have? He was here. He was trying. And God help her, part of her still wanted him in her life, even if it hurt. "Maybe," she said carefully. "We can try." He smiled, just a small one, but it lit up his whole face. They ordered food they didn't really want. Talked about safe things, the weather, the city, Jasmine's mom, Liam's company. Neither of them mentioned the baby again. By the time they finished, it was almost midnight. Jasmine paid with the last of her tip money. Liam reached for his wallet, but she waved him off. "I've got it." "Jasmine, I've got it." They stood to leave. Liam held the door for her. His hand hovered near her elbow, protective, but not touching. Outside, the rain had finally stopped. The streets gleamed wet and clean under the streetlights. "Let me call you a car home," Liam said. "It's fine. Please, I'll worry if you don't." Something in his voice made her pause. He sounded genuinely concerned, like he actually cared whether she got home safely. "Okay," she said quietly. "Thank you." While they waited for the car, she pulled out her phone to call dispatch, told them where the cab was, confirmed pickup for tomorrow morning. When she looked up, Liam was watching her again. That same intense look he used to give her, like she was the only thing in the world that mattered. She turned away before her heart could do something stupid. The car arrived. A sleek black sedan that whispered money. "I'll see you around?" Liam asked. "Maybe." She climbed into the back seat, put on her seatbelt, pulled her bag into her lap, and didn't see Liam lean in through the still-open door to slip his business card into the front pocket of her tote bag while holding the door for the driver. The car pulled away into the wet night. Jasmine watched the diner disappear behind them, watched Liam become smaller and smaller until he was just another shadow on the sidewalk. She leaned her head against the window, closed her eyes. "It doesn't matter," she told herself firmly. "He's in the past. You've got to focus on the future now." But her heart didn't listen. Her heart whispered, "What if?" Morning light crept through the thin curtains of Jasmine's kitchen. She yawned and poured herself a glass of orange juice. Her whole body felt heavy. Like she'd run a marathon instead of just sitting in a cab. She dumped out her tote bag on the counter. Pens, receipts, her wallet, hand sanitizer, and a business card, cream-colored, expensive-looking, embossed letters. Liam Hayes, CEO, Hayes Innovations. His cell number was handwritten on the back in his neat, careful script. Jasmine stared at it. Her heart did a stupid little flip. He'd given her his card, without asking, without making a big deal about it. Just given it. A knock on the door made her jump. "Jasmine, mija, it's Mrs. Alvarez." She smiled and went to answer. Mrs. Alvarez was her neighbor from down the hall, 68 years old, loud voice, bigger heart. "Morning, Mrs. A." The older woman bustled in with a paper bag. "I made too many rolls. You take some. The baby needs food." "You didn't make too many," Jasmine said, laughing. "You made them for me. So, take them anyway." Mrs. Alvarez set the bag on the counter. Then she spotted Liam's card. "What's this, new job?" "No, just someone I used to know." Mrs. Alvarez picked up the card, studied it, raised her eyebrows. "A CEO? Fancy. It's nothing. Nothing. Mija, men don't give out their private numbers for nothing." She set the card down and gave Jasmine a knowing look. "Is this the one?" Heat climbed up Jasmine's neck. "I don't know what you mean. The one who broke your heart. The one you still dream about when you think I can't hear you crying through the walls." Jasmine looked away. "That was a long time ago. Time doesn't heal everything, baby. Sometimes it just teaches you to live with the ache." They stood in silence for a moment. The refrigerator hummed. Somewhere down the hall, a dog barked. "He wants to be friends," Jasmine said finally. "Do you want to be friends?" "I don't know. Maybe." She touched her belly. "I can't afford to get my heart broken again, Mrs. A. I've got someone else to think about now." "I know, but maybe—" Mrs. Alvarez patted her hand. "Maybe he's changed. People do that sometimes if they want to badly enough." She left with another hug and a promise to check in later. Jasmine returned to the card, picked it up, put it down, picked it up again. Then she walked to the window and looked outside, and her heart stopped. Liam stood on the curb across the street. Same suit from last night, hair damp like he'd been walking in the last of the rain, hands in his pockets, just waiting. He looked up and saw her in the window. Their eyes met across the distance. Jasmine's breath caught. Her hands started to shake. What was he doing here? Why was he— Her phone buzzed. "Unknown number. It's Liam. I hope it's okay that I'm here. I wanted to make sure you got home safe, and I thought maybe I could give you a ride to the garage to pick up your cab. No pressure, just trying to help." She read the message 3 times. He'd waited all night, out there in the cold, just to make sure she was okay. Something cracked in her chest, some wall she'd built so carefully. Against her better judgment, against every warning voice in her head, Jasmine texted back, "Give me 15 minutes." She watched him read the message, watched his whole face light up with hope, and knew, right then, that she was in trouble. Big, heartbreaking, beautiful trouble. The ride to the garage took 20 minutes. Neither of them spoke much. Liam drove carefully. Jasmine stared out the window and tried to ignore how right it felt to be in his car again. Her phone rang. "Mom." "Hi, Mama." "Baby, how are you feeling? Did you get any rest after your shift?" "I'm fine. She glanced at Liam. "I'm on my way to pick up the cab." "At this hour, Jasmine, you need to sleep." "I will after I get the cab." "You're going to work yourself to death. I don't like this job. It's not safe, especially not now." "Mama, I'm fine. Really." They argued for another minute before Jasmine finally promised to rest that afternoon. She hung up and sighed. "She worries," Liam said quietly. "She's my mum. It's her job. Still, it's nice, having someone who cares that much." Jasmine looked at him, really looked, saw the loneliness hiding behind his polite smile. His own mother had died when he was young. His father had remarried someone cold, someone who cared more about money than people. Liam had built his empire alone. No support, no cheering section, just him and his ambition and the empty spaces where love should have been. "I'm sorry," Jasmine said softly. "That came out wrong on the phone. I didn't mean—" "I know." He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "It's okay." They pulled into the garage. The place smelled like oil and rubber. Jasmine spotted Dinah immediately, her co-worker and best friend from the night shift. Dinah was tall and loud and had zero filter. She also gave the best advice and made the worst coffee. She saw Jasmine and waved. Then she saw Liam and her eyes went wide. Jasmine climbed out of the car slowly. Her back protested. The baby shifted and kicked, like saying, "Good morning, Mama." Dina met her halfway across the lot. "Girl," she hissed. "Is that him? Is that the Liam? Keep your voice down." "Oh my God, it is." Dina grabbed her arm. "What's he doing here? Why are you with him? Did you—" "Dina, please, not now." But Dina was already looking at Liam like a mother bear sizing up a threat. He approached slowly, hands still in his pockets, trying to look harmless. "Hi," he said. "I'm Liam." "I know who you are," Dina said. "Not friendly, not mean, just careful." Jasmine jumped in quickly. "Liam gave me a ride to pick up my cab. The wiper broke last night and he just happened to be in your cab? Just happened to be the one passenger out of 8 million people?" "It was chance," Liam said. "Pure chance." Dina studied him for a long moment. Then she looked at Jasmine. "You good?" "I'm good." "You sure?" "I'm sure." Dina nodded slowly. "Okay, but I'm watching you," she told Liam. Then she squeezed Jasmine's hand and walked back to the office. "She's protective," Jasmine said apologetically. "She should be." Liam looked at her seriously. "You're lucky to have her." They stood in awkward silence. Jasmine didn't know what to say, didn't know what came next. Then Liam's phone buzzed. He glanced at it and frowned. "I have to take this work thing, do you mind?" "Go ahead." He stepped away, started talking in that confident CEO voice she remembered so well. Jasmine walked over to where her cab sat in the bay. The mechanic was just finishing up. "All set?" she asked. "Good as new," he said, wiping his hands. "That wiper was shot. Replaced it. Also fixed your left tail light while I was at it." "How much?" He named a price that made her stomach drop. But she nodded and went to get her wallet. When she came back, Liam was standing by the cab, phone put away, holding 2 paper bags. "What's that?" she asked. "Breakfast. For you and Dina and the mechanics. I thought—" He looked embarrassed. "I thought maybe everyone could use some food." She stared at him, at the bags, at his uncertain expression. He'd bought breakfast for everyone, not just her. "You didn't have to do that," she said quietly. "I wanted to." Something warm unfurled in her chest, something dangerous and hopeful. She took one of the bags and called Dinah over. They distributed bagels and muffins and coffee. The mechanics thanked him. Dinah remained suspicious, but accepted a blueberry muffin. Liam didn't make a big show of it, didn't brag, just handed out food and smiled politely when people thanked him. When everyone else had scattered, Jasmine turned to him. "Can we talk?" she asked. "Just for a minute?" "Of course." They sat on the hood of an old car in the corner. The metal was cold, but the sun was starting to come out. "We need ground rules," Jasmine said, "if we're going to try being friends." "Okay. What kind of rules?" She took a breath. "Honesty. No games. No hiding. If something hurts, we say it. If something scares us, we admit it." "Agreed. And no pressure." "I can't handle pressure right now, Liam. I've got too much on my plate." "No pressure," he promised. "We take this as slow as you need. And if I need space, I'll give it to you, no questions asked." She searched his face, looking for lies, for cracks, for any sign this was just another game, but all she saw was earnestness and something that looked like hope. "Okay," she said finally. "We can try, just friends." He smiled, that real smile that crinkled the corners of his eyes. "Friends," he agreed. Then, softer, "Thank you for giving me a chance." She didn't answer, just slid off the hood and headed toward her cab. But when she glanced back, Liam was still smiling, still watching her like she'd just given him the whole world. And despite everything, despite her fears and her broken heart and all the reasons this was a terrible idea, Jasmine felt herself smile back, just a little, just enough. Dina cornered Jasmine in the garage bathroom an hour later. "Okay, spill," Dina said, crossing her arms. "What's really going on with Mr. CEO?" Jasmine washed her hands and avoided eye contact. "Nothing. We ran into each other, that's all." "Jasmine." "What?" "Don't what me. I saw how he looked at you, like you hung the moon and stars." Dina leaned against the sink. "And I saw how you looked at him, too." "I didn't look at him anyway." "Girl, please. You looked at him like your heart was breaking and healing at the same time." Jasmine dried her hands slowly. Her chest felt tight. "It doesn't matter how I look at him. We're done. We've been done for 2 years. But you still love him." The words hung in the air between them. Jasmine wanted to deny it, wanted to say no, wanted to lie, wanted to protect herself. But this was Dinah, and they didn't lie to each other. Maybe, she whispered. A little, but that doesn't change anything. Why not? Because I can't afford to get hurt again. I've got a baby coming, Dina. A baby who needs stability and safety, not a mother who's pining after some man who might run the second things get hard. Dina's face softened. Did he run, or did you push him away first? The question hit like a slap. Jasmine opened her mouth, closed it. She didn't have an answer. Look, Dina said gently. I'm not saying trust him right away. I'm not saying throw yourself at his feet. But maybe don't run from joy just because you're scared of the pain that might come with it. Joy left once, Jasmine said quietly. It'll leave again. Only if you don't fight for it. Dina squeezed her shoulder and left. Jasmine stood alone in the bathroom, staring at her reflection, at the dark circles under her eyes, at the way her body had changed to make room for new life. Don't run from joy. But what if joy was just another word for heartbreak waiting to happen? That afternoon, Jasmine tried to nap, but sleep wouldn't come. Her mind kept replaying the last 24 hours. Liam in her cab, his face when he saw she was pregnant, the way he'd waited outside her building all night, the business card burning a hole in her pocket. Finally, she gave up and went to the kitchen, made herself a sandwich she didn't really want, checked her phone for the 100th time. No new messages. She told herself she wasn't disappointed. A knock on the door interrupted her thoughts. "It's open, Mrs. A," she called, but it wasn't Mrs. Alvarez. It was Liam. He stood in her doorway, holding 2 paper bags from the grocery store, looking nervous. "Hi," he said. "I hope this is okay. I brought some things. Food. I noticed your fridge was kind of empty last time and—" He stopped, took a breath. "I'm sorry. I should have texted first. This is weird. I'm being weird." Despite everything, Jasmine smiled. "You're being weird," she agreed. "But come in anyway." He stepped inside carefully, like he was afraid he might break something. Jasmine's apartment was small, 1 bedroom, a kitchen that barely fit 2 people. But it was clean, and it was hers. Liam set the bags on the counter and started unpacking. Fruits, vegetables, milk, bread, and prenatal vitamins. Jasmine picked up the bottle, her brand, the exact ones she took every morning. "I looked it up," Liam said quietly. "What pregnant women need. I wanted to help, but I didn't want to overstep." Her throat went tight. "This isn't overstepping, is it?" She looked at the groceries, at his hopeful, uncertain face, at the way he was trying so hard to do the right thing. "No," she said softly. "It's not." His whole body relaxed. "Good. That's good." They put the groceries away together, moving around each other in the tiny kitchen, not quite touching, but aware of every breath, every movement. When they finished, Jasmine noticed the crib box in the corner, still unopened, still taunting her. She'd bought it 3 weeks ago, kept meaning to assemble it, but the instructions looked complicated, and she was always so tired after her shifts. "I could help with that," Liam offered, "if you want. You know how to build furniture. I built an entire company from nothing. I think I can handle a crib." She almost laughed. Almost. "Okay," she said, "but if you break it, you buy a new one. Deal." He shed his jacket and rolled up his sleeves. Jasmine handed him tools from her small toolkit. And together, slowly, carefully, they started building something. The afternoon sun slanted through the windows. Dust motes danced in the light. Liam worked methodically, checking the instructions twice before every step. Jasmine sat on the couch and watched. Her hand rested on her belly. The baby kicked gently, like it knew something important was happening. "What are you going to name them?" Liam asked. "The baby? I don't know yet. I'm waiting to meet them first." "That makes sense." He fitted 2 pieces together and reached for a screwdriver. "Are you scared?" The question surprised her. Most people asked if she was excited or ready, but no one asked if she was scared. "Terrified," she admitted. "Every single day." "You're going to be an amazing mom." "How do you know?" He looked up at her, his blue eyes serious. "Because you're already putting them first, already making sure they're safe and fed and loved. That's what matters." Something warm bloomed in her chest, something that felt dangerously like hope. "Thank you," she whispered. They worked in comfortable silence after that. By the time the sun started to set, the crib stood finished in the corner of her bedroom. Simple white wood, clean lines, strong and steady. Liam tested it 1 more time, made sure every bolt was tight, every rail secure. "Perfect," he said. Jasmine stood beside him, looking at the empty crib, imagining the baby who would sleep there soon. "Thank you," she said again, "for helping, for everything today." "Anytime." He meant it. She could hear it in his voice. I should go. Let you rest. Okay. They walked to the door together. Liam grabbed his jacket, hesitated. Can I text you tomorrow? He asked. Just to check in? She should say no, should protect her heart, should keep those walls high and strong. But instead she said, okay. His smile could have lit up the whole city. He left as the last light faded from the sky. Jasmine watched from her window as he climbed into his car and drove away. Then she went to her bedroom, stood beside the crib, ran her hand along the smooth wood, and let herself imagine, just for a moment, what it might be like to not be alone in this. 2 days later, Jasmine sat in the clinic waiting room, her hands twisted together in her lap. Her leg bounced nervously. Just a regular checkup, nothing special. In and out in 30 minutes. That's what she told herself. But her heart wouldn't stop racing. The door opened. A nurse called her name. Jasmine stood and froze. Liam walked through the clinic entrance, hair slightly messy like he'd been running, breathing hard. I'm sorry I'm late, he said quickly. Traffic was... He stopped, looked around at the waiting room. Is this okay? Me being here? I know I should have asked first, but I thought maybe you could use some company and... Liam, breathe, he breathed. How did you even know I had an appointment? She asked. You mentioned it yesterday when we were building the crib. You said you had a checkup on Thursday. He'd remembered. Out of everything they'd talked about, he'd remembered that tiny detail. You don't have to stay, Jasmine said quietly. I know, but I want to, if that's okay. The nurse appeared in the doorway again. Jasmine Carter? Jasmine looked at Liam, at his hopeful face, at the way he was trying so hard. Come on, she said. But if you faint, I'm leaving you on the floor. He laughed, a real laugh that made her chest feel lighter. They followed the nurse back, got Jasmine's weight and blood pressure. Everything looked good, normal. Then the doctor came in, Dr. Patel, warm smile, kind eyes. She'd been Jasmine's OB since the beginning. How are we feeling today? Dr. Patel asked. Tired, but okay. And this is... A friend, Jasmine said quickly. Liam, he's a friend. Dr. Patel nodded and didn't push. Well, let's take a look at baby, shall we? She set up the ultrasound machine. Jasmine lay back on the table. Liam stood awkwardly in the corner, not sure where to look. The gel was cold. Jasmine flinched. Dr. Patel moved the wand across her belly. The screen flickered to life. And there, right there, was the baby. Tiny arms, tiny legs, a heart beating strong and steady. Jasmine's eyes filled with tears, every single time, every appointment. The miracle of it never got old. She glanced at Liam. He stared at the screen like he was watching something holy. His mouth hung open slightly. His eyes were wet. Beautiful, he whispered. Absolutely beautiful. Dr. Patel frowned slightly, moved the wand, checked something, moved it again. Jasmine's heart lurched. What's wrong? Probably nothing. But I want to recheck some measurements. Baby's measuring a little smaller than I'd like. Could be nothing. Could be position. But I'd like to do another ultrasound. Today, if possible. Fear crashed through Jasmine like a wave. Is the baby okay? Let's not panic yet. This is just precautionary. I'll have the tech come in and do a more thorough scan. Should only take about 20 minutes. Dr. Patel left. The door closed. Jasmine sat up slowly. Her hands shook as she wiped the gel off her belly. It's okay, Liam said quickly. He moved to her side. It's going to be okay. You don't know that. The doctor said it's probably nothing. Just a precaution. But what if... Her voice cracked. What if something's wrong? What if I did something wrong? What if... Hey, look at me. She looked up into his steady blue eyes. You have done everything right, he said firmly. You're taking your vitamins. You're eating healthy. You're going to all your appointments. Whatever this is, it's not your fault. Tears spilled down her cheeks. I'm scared. I know. Me too. He reached for her hand, hesitated. Then, gently, carefully, laced his fingers through hers. His hand was warm, strong, steady. Jasmine squeezed tight and didn't let go. The ultrasound tech came in. A young woman with a friendly smile. She ran the scan again. More thoroughly this time, checking every angle, taking measurements, making notes. The 20 minutes felt like 20 hours. Finally she finished. Everything looks good. Baby's just positioned funny. That's why the measurements seemed off. But heart rate is perfect. Movement is great. Nothing to worry about. Relief hit Jasmine so hard she almost sobbed. You're sure? She asked. Positive. I'll have Dr. Patel confirm, but baby's healthy. The tech left. Jasmine dropped her head into her hands. Her whole body shook. Thank God, she whispered. Thank God. Liam still held her hand. He hadn't let go the entire time. "See?" he said softly. "Everything's okay." She looked at him through her tears. "Thank you for staying, for being here. There's nowhere else I'd rather be." Dr. Patel came back and confirmed everything. Baby was fine, Jasmine was fine, just a false alarm. They walked out of the clinic together, into the bright afternoon sunshine. Jasmine felt shaky, wrung out, like she'd run a marathon. They reached Liam's car. He opened the door for her, but before she climbed in, she turned to face him. "Liam? Yeah? Don't let go." He looked at their joined hands, then back at her face. "Never," he promised, and he meant it. She could see it in his eyes, hear it in his voice. For the first time in months, maybe years, Jasmine let herself believe. Just a little, just enough. That evening, Jasmine's mother showed up at her door with soup and suspicion. Rachel Carter was a force of nature. 55 years old, strong jaw, stronger opinions. She'd raised Jasmine alone after Jasmine's father left, and she'd done it with grace and grit and zero tolerance for nonsense. "You look exhausted," Rachel said, bustling into the kitchen. "Have you been sleeping?" "Hi, Mama, I'm fine. Yes, I've been sleeping. Don't lie to me." Rachel started unpacking containers. Chicken soup, cornbread, green beans. "You've got circles under your eyes, and you're moving like you're 90 years old." "I had a doctor's appointment today. Everything's fine. Baby's healthy." "Good, that's good." Rachel paused, looked around the kitchen. Her eyes landed on the tool bag in the corner. Liam's tool bag. He'd left it yesterday when he built the crib. "What's that?" Rachel asked. "Just tools for the crib." "Since when do you own tools like that?" Jasmine's stomach sank. "A friend helped me build the crib." "What friend?" There was no lying to her mother. Never had been, never would be. "Liam," Jasmine said quietly. Rachel went very still. "Liam, as in the Liam who broke your heart. That Liam." "Mama, what is he doing here? Why is he building cribs in your apartment? It's not like that. We ran into each other, and he offered to help, that's all." Rachel set down the soup container with more force than necessary. "Baby, listen to me. That man hurt you. I watched you cry for months after he left. I held you while you sobbed your heart out. And now he's back, conveniently, when you're pregnant and vulnerable? He didn't leave. I left him, because he wasn't making you a priority." "I know, Mama. I know." Jasmine rubbed her temples. A headache was building behind her eyes. "But people change. Maybe he'll run the second things get hard, the second the baby comes and life gets messy. What then?" Jasmine didn't have an answer. Rachel's face softened. She pulled Jasmine into a hug, held her tight. "I'm not trying to be cruel," she said quietly. "I just don't want to see you hurt again. You're my baby, my only child, and watching you break nearly killed me. I know. Just be careful. Please, guard your heart." "I will." But after Rachel left, Jasmine sat alone in the dark, thinking, wondering. Was her mother right? Was she being stupid? Was she setting herself up for more pain? Her phone buzzed. "Liam, thank you for letting me come to your appointment today. It meant more to me than you know. Sleep well." She stared at the message for a long time. Then, slowly, she typed back, "Thank you for being there. It meant a lot to me too." 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. "Liam, any day, every day." "I mean that." Jasmine's heart did a dangerous thing. It believed him. 2 nights later, Liam invited her to dinner. Nothing fancy, just a small bistro in her neighborhood, the kind with checkered tablecloths and candles in wine bottles. Jasmine almost said no, but then she thought about Dr. Patel's office, about Liam's hand in hers, about the way he'd stayed when things got scary. So she said yes. She wore a simple blue dress. Nothing special. Her belly made everything feel awkward anyway. Liam picked her up at 7. He wore dark jeans and a sweater instead of a suit. More relaxed, more like the old Liam she'd fallen for years ago. "You look beautiful," he said when she opened the door. "I look pregnant." "You look beautifully pregnant." She couldn't help but smile. The restaurant was cozy and warm. They sat in a corner booth. Jasmine ordered pasta. Liam ordered the same. "So," he said after the waiter left, "have you thought about names?" "A few, but nothing feels right yet." "What about family names? Anyone you want to honor?" She thought about it. "My grandmother was named Rose, but I don't know. It feels like a lot of pressure, naming someone." "It is. You're giving them the first piece of their identity." They talked about names, about bedtime stories, about what makes a home. Jasmine found herself relaxing, laughing. The knot of anxiety in her chest loosened. What kind of father do you think you'd be? The question slipped out before she could stop it. Liam paused, fork halfway to his mouth. I don't know. I'd want to be present. Really present. Not like my father was. He set down his fork. I'd want to show up to recitals and games and boring school events. I'd want to know their favorite color and what makes them laugh. That sounds nice. What about you? What kind of mother do you want to be? Patient, kind, strong enough to let them fall, but brave enough to catch them when they really need it. He smiled. You're going to be all of that and more. The conversation flowed easily after that. Old memories surfaced, good ones. The time they'd gotten lost on a hiking trail and ended up having a picnic beside a waterfall. The night they'd stayed up until dawn talking about everything and nothing. For a few hours, it felt like the past 2 years hadn't happened, like they were just Jasmine and Liam again, young and hopeful and in love. When they finished eating, Liam paid. Jasmine didn't argue this time. Outside, the night air was cool and clean. Street lamps cast golden pools on the sidewalk. Thank you for dinner, Jasmine said. I had a really nice time. Me too. Can we do this again? Maybe. He smiled at that. At her careful maybe that sounded almost like a yes. They walked to his car slowly, neither wanting the night to end. What they didn't see was the man across the street, the one with the expensive camera, the one who'd been following Liam since he left his office. The flash went off as Liam opened the car door for Jasmine, as his hand hovered protectively near her back. Liam saw it. His whole body tensed. He frowned but said nothing. What's wrong? Jasmine asked. Nothing, just thought I saw someone I knew. He helped her into the car, closed the door gently, but his jaw stayed tight the whole drive home. And in his pocket, his phone buzzed with a text from his publicist. We need to talk. Photo just hit social media. You and a pregnant woman. Who is she? Liam silenced his phone, looked at Jasmine beside him, at the way the streetlights played across her face, at the small, genuine smile on her lips. Whatever storm was coming, he'd deal with it. She was worth it. She was worth everything. The next afternoon, Jasmine struggled with grocery bags. Her arms ached. The baby pressed against her lungs, making it hard to breathe. She'd almost made it to her apartment when Tyler appeared at the top of the stairs. Let me help, he said, jogging down to meet her. Tyler Brooks had been her friend since 3rd grade. They'd grown up on the same block, survived middle school together. He'd been there when her father left, there when she graduated, there through everything. Thanks, Jasmine said, handing him the heavier bags. They climbed the stairs together. Tyler unlocked her door with the spare key she'd given him years ago, started putting groceries away like he'd done it 100 times before, because he had. How was your week? Tyler asked. Exhausting. Busy. The usual. You're working too hard. I'm working exactly as hard as I need to. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Same stubborn Jasmine. They finished with the groceries. Tyler lingered in the doorway, his hands shoved deep in his pockets. Something was wrong. Jasmine could feel it. What's going on? She asked. Can we sit? Just for a minute? They sat on the small couch. Tyler stared at his hands. Jasmine waited. She'd known him long enough to recognize when he was gathering courage. I need to tell you something, he said finally. And I need you to just listen, okay? Don't say anything until I'm done. Okay. He took a deep breath. I've loved you since we were 16 years old. Maybe longer. I've loved you through every boyfriend you've had, through every heartbreak, through everything. Jasmine's breath caught. I know the timing is terrible, Tyler continued. His voice cracked slightly. I know you're pregnant and dealing with everything, but I can't keep pretending anymore. I can't keep watching from the sidelines. Tyler, please, let me finish. He finally looked at her. His dark eyes were serious, sad. I could be there for you, for the baby. I could be the steady thing you need, the safe choice. I'd never run. I'd never put work first. I'd be there every single day. Silence filled the room. Jasmine's mind spun. Tyler, sweet, loyal, patient Tyler. He'd been offering her his heart for years, and she'd been too blind or too stubborn to see it. You're my best friend, she said quietly. I know. I don't think of you that way. I know that too. He smiled, but it was broken at the edges. But maybe you could. Maybe if you gave it a chance. She wanted to say yes, wanted to choose safety, choose the man who'd never left, never disappointed her, but her heart didn't work that way. Hearts never did. I can't, she whispered. Tyler, I'm so sorry, but I can't. He nodded slowly, like he'd expected this answer, like it hurt anyway. It's him, isn't it? Tyler asked. Liam, I saw you two at the cafe, the way you looked at each other. I don't know what it is, You love him. The words hung between them, true and terrible. Maybe, Jasmine admitted. I don't know. But I can't lie to you. I can't pretend to feel something I don't. Tyler stood, paced to the window, looked out at the street below. I hope he deserves you, he said finally. I hope he knows how lucky he is. Tyler, I mean it. You deserve someone who sees you, who chooses you every single day. If that's him, if he can be that person, then I'm happy for you. Tears slid down Jasmine's cheeks. I don't want to lose you. You won't. He turned back to face her. I'm your friend first. Always have been. I need some time to get my head straight, but I'm not going anywhere. He walked to the door, paused with his hand on the knob. Take care of yourself, Jazz. And that baby. Then he was gone. Jasmine sat alone in the quiet apartment. Her heart felt heavy and light at the same time. Heavy with the weight of Tyler's love, light with the freedom of her honesty. She'd done the right thing. She knew she had. But God, it hurt anyway. That evening, Liam showed up at her door. He carried something small wrapped in tissue paper. Bad time? He asked, seeing her red eyes. No, come in. He stepped inside carefully, set the package on the counter. I brought something for the baby. Nothing big. I saw it and thought of you. Jasmine unwrapped it slowly. Inside was a small mobile. Wooden stars and moons that spun gently. Simple and beautiful. It's perfect, she said softly. I wasn't sure about the colors, but I thought... He stopped, looked at her more closely. Have you been crying? She considered lying, considered brushing it off, but they'd promised honesty. Tyler was here, she said. Liam went still. Oh, he told me he's loved me for years. He asked if we could try, him and me. The words fell between them like stones in water, heavy, final. What did you say? Liam's voice was carefully neutral. I said no. She looked at him directly. I told him I couldn't feel that way about him. That my heart... She stopped, swallowed hard. That my heart was somewhere else. Liam's eyes widened. Jasmine, I'm not saying this to pressure you. I'm saying it because it's true, because we promised honesty. She took a shaky breath. You hurt me, Liam. You hurt me so badly I thought I'd never recover, but I can't seem to stop caring about you anyway. He crossed the room in 3 steps, stood so close she could feel the heat coming off his body. I'm not the same person I was 2 years ago, he said intensely. I was young and stupid, and so focused on proving myself that I lost sight of what actually mattered. But I've learned. I've changed. Have you? Yes, and I'll prove it to you, however long it takes. I'll prove that I can be the man you deserve. I don't want grand gestures, Liam. I want consistency. I want someone who shows up, not just when it's convenient, but when it's hard. I'll show up, every day, every hard moment. I promise. He reached for her hands, held them gently. Give me a chance, he said. Give us a chance, please. Jasmine looked up at him, at his blue eyes shining with hope and fear and something that looked like love. She thought about Tyler's safe offer, about her mother's warnings, about all the logical reasons to say no. But then she thought about Liam's hand in hers at the clinic, about him building a crib, about the way he remembered small details and showed up when it mattered. Okay, she whispered, we can try, but slow. And if you hurt me again, I won't. You don't know that. Then I'll do everything in my power to make sure I don't. They stood in her small kitchen, not quite touching, but closer than they'd been in years. The mobile spun slowly on the counter, wooden stars casting tiny shadows on the wall, and for the first time since she'd seen him in her cab, Jasmine let herself hope for something more than friendship. 2 nights later, Liam picked her up at 8. He was mysterious about their destination, just said to dress warm and comfortable. They drove through the city, past bright lights and busy streets, finally stopped at a building Jasmine didn't recognize. Where are we? She asked. A friend's place. He's letting me borrow his rooftop for the night. They took the elevator up, until they reached the top floor. The rooftop door opened onto magic. String lights hung everywhere, soft and golden. A blanket was spread on the ground with pillows. A small speaker played quiet music. The city stretched out below them, a sea of lights and possibility. Liam, Jasmine breathed. This is too much. It's perfect. He smiled, relieved. Come on. They sat on the blanket. Liam had brought food, simple things, sandwiches, fruit, sparkling cider in plastic cups. Do you remember our first date? Liam asked. The movies. You spilled popcorn all over both of us. I was nervous. I know. It was cute. They ate and talked and watched the city breathe below them. The baby kicked gently. Jasmine pressed her hand to her belly. Can I? Liam hesitated. Can I feel? She nodded, took his hand, placed it where the baby moved. Liam's face transformed. Wonder spread across his features like sunrise. Wow, he whispered. That's wow. Pretty amazing, right? Incredible. His hand stayed there, warm and steady. The baby kicked again. Liam laughed. Strong kid, he said. Yeah. Takes after their mama. Music drifted through the air, slow and sweet. A song Jasmine remembered from years ago, one they used to dance to in Liam's tiny apartment kitchen. Dance with me? Liam asked. I'm 6 months pregnant. So, that just means I have to hold you closer. He stood, offered his hand. Jasmine took it. They swayed together under the string lights, his arms around her, her head on his chest, the baby between them like a promise. I missed this, Liam said softly. I missed you. I missed you too. I was such an idiot to let you go. Yes, you were, he laughed. The sound rumbled through his chest. No argument there. They danced until the song ended. Then Liam tilted her chin up gently. Can I kiss you? He asked. Her heart hammered. Yes. He leaned down slowly, giving her time to change her mind, time to pull away. She didn't. His lips met hers, soft, tentative, like he was afraid she might disappear if he pushed too hard. Jasmine kissed him back. Let herself fall into the moment, into the hope, into the dangerous, beautiful feeling of being wanted. When they finally pulled apart, both were breathing hard. Wow, Liam said. Yeah. They sat back down on the blanket. Jasmine curled against his side, his arm around her shoulders. I've been thinking, Liam said, about the baby shower. What about it? What if we did something small? Just the people who matter most. Your mom, my mom, Tyler, Dina, Mrs. Alvarez. We could have it at my place or yours, wherever you're comfortable. Jasmine's chest tightened at the mention of his mother. Your mum doesn't even know about me. I'll tell her. I should have told her weeks ago. What if she doesn't approve? Then she doesn't approve. But you're in my life now, and I'm not hiding that. The words should have been comforting, should have made her feel secure. But a tiny voice in her head whispered, what happens when his mother says no? What happens when he has to choose? She pushed the thought away, focused on the present, on his arms around her, on the lights above them. A small shower sounds nice, she said. Yeah? Yeah. They stayed on the rooftop until midnight, talking about everything and nothing, planning a future that felt suddenly, impossibly real. When Liam finally drove her home, Jasmine felt lighter than she had in months, maybe years, like she was finally allowed to be happy, like maybe, just maybe, good things could last. But happiness has a way of making people careless, a way of making them forget that storms can arrive without warning. The next evening, Liam invited Jasmine to his penthouse for dinner. He wanted to cook for her, show her his space, let her see the life he'd built. Jasmine agreed, put on a nice dress, did her hair, felt nervous and excited and hopeful all at once. The penthouse was stunning, floor-to-ceiling windows, sleek furniture, everything expensive and perfect. It made her apartment look like a shoebox. It's too much, I know, Liam said, watching her face. I bought it because I thought it was what success looked like, but it's never felt like home. It's beautiful. It's empty. He led her to the kitchen, started cooking. They worked side by side, chopping vegetables, stirring sauce, moving together like they'd done this 1,000 times. Dinner was almost ready when the doorbell rang. Liam frowned. I'm not expecting anyone. He went to answer it. Jasmine stayed in the kitchen, stirring the pasta. Then she heard a woman's voice, cold, clipped, angry. Liam Michael Hayes, what is going on? I've been calling you all day. Mum, this isn't a good time. I saw the photo. You and some pregnant woman. It's all over social media. People are asking me questions I can't answer. Jasmine's stomach dropped. She should leave. Should go before this got worse. But her feet wouldn't move. Mum, please, can we talk about this later? No, we cannot talk about this later. Liam, think about your reputation, your business. What will people think? I don't care what people think. Well, you should. This woman, whoever she is, she's clearly trying to trap you, get money from you, and you're fool enough to fall for it. Jasmine's blood ran cold. She walked into the living room. Eleanor Hayes stood by the door, tall, elegant, cold as winter. Their eyes met. You must be the woman from the photo, Eleanor said. Jasmine Carter, Jasmine said. Her voice was steady, even though her hands shook. And your son invited me here. How convenient. When are you due? That's none of your business. It's absolutely my business when you're trying to trap my son into playing father to someone else's child. Mom! Liam's voice was sharp, shocked. Don't mom me. This is exactly the kind of gold-digger nonsense I warned you about. She sees your money and suddenly shows up pregnant? How stupid do you think I am? Jasmine felt like she'd been slapped. I'm not. I would never. Of course you would. Women like you always do. Mom, that's enough. Liam stepped between them. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't I? Look at her, Liam. She's clearly using you, and you're too blinded by whatever this is to see it. Liam opened his mouth to respond, but his words came too slow, too uncertain. He hesitated, just for a second, just one moment of doubt. But Jasmine saw it, saw the flicker of uncertainty in his eyes, saw him calculate the cost of defending her, saw him weigh his mother's approval against her dignity, and in that moment, that terrible, crushing moment, Jasmine understood. He wasn't ready. Maybe he'd never be ready. Liam, Eleanor said, her voice softer now, persuasive, you've worked so hard to build your company, to build your reputation. Don't throw it all away for someone who's clearly manipulating you. She's not... But his voice was weak, uncertain. Jasmine felt her heart crack clean in half. I should go, she said quietly. Jasmine, wait. Liam reached for her. She stepped back. No, your mother's right. I shouldn't be here. That's not what Isn't it? She looked at him. Really looked at him. You hesitated, Liam. When she accused me of using you, you hesitated. I was just shocked. You should have defended me, immediately, without thinking, but you didn't. Tears blurred her vision. She couldn't cry here, couldn't fall apart in front of this woman who thought she was nothing. I won't beg to be believed, Jasmine said. Her voice was steady, but her heart was shattering. I won't beg for trust. Either you know who I am or you don't. She walked to the elevator, pressed the button with shaking hands. Jasmine, please. Liam's voice cracked. Don't go. Let me explain. There's nothing to explain. The elevator doors opened. Jasmine stepped inside, turned to face him one last time. Liam stood in the doorway, face pale, eyes desperate, his mother behind him, satisfied, victorious. Goodbye, Liam, Jasmine whispered. The doors closed. She made it to the lobby before the tears came, made it to the street before her knees went weak. She flagged a cab, climbed inside, gave her address through choked sobs. The driver didn't ask questions, just drove. Jasmine pressed her hand to her belly, to the baby who kicked gently, who knew nothing of heartbreak and disappointment and shattered hope. It's okay, she whispered. It's just us now, just us. And that's enough. That has to be enough. But it didn't feel like enough. It felt like the end of everything. The next morning, Jasmine's phone was full of texts from Liam. 15, 20, more. I'm so sorry. Please let me explain. My mother was out of line. I should have defended you immediately. Please answer. Please. She deleted them all without reading past the first few. Mrs. Alvarez knocked around 9, brought tea and sympathy and no judgment. He called me, Mrs. Alvarez said. Liam asked me to check on you, said you won't answer his calls. I won't. Want to tell me what happened? Jasmine told her everything. The rooftop, the kiss, the hope, then Eleanor's arrival, the accusations, Liam's hesitation. He froze, Jasmine said. When it mattered most, he froze. Mrs. Alvarez sipped her tea thoughtfully. People show love by what they do next, she said. Not what they do in the moment of shock, but what they do after, when they've had time to think. It doesn't matter what he does next. The damage is done. Is it? He didn't believe me, didn't he? Or did he just freeze under pressure? Mrs. Alvarez set down her cup. I'm not making excuses for him, Mija. What happened wasn't okay, but sometimes people need a second to catch up to their hearts. Jasmine wanted to argue, wanted to stay angry. Anger was easier than pain, but then she looked at her phone, at the screen that said 47 missed calls from Liam. 47 times he'd tried to reach her. What do I do? She whispered. Whatever your heart tells you. But don't decide from a place of fear, decide from a place of truth. Mrs. Alvarez left with another hug. Jasmine sat alone in the quiet apartment, her hand on her phone, her heart at war with itself. Outside, rain began to fall. Liam stood outside his mother's apartment, his hand raised to knock, his heart pounding like a war drum. He'd spent all night thinking, replaying the scene, seeing Jasmine's face when he hesitated, seeing the exact moment her heart broke. He'd failed her. When it mattered most, he'd failed, but he wouldn't fail her again. He knocked, hard, determined. Eleanor answered. She looked surprised. "Liam, I didn't expect. We need to talk." He pushed past her into the apartment. "Now, if this is about that woman, her name is Jasmine, and you were cruel to her. Unforgivably cruel." Eleanor's face hardened. "I was protecting you. From what? From happiness, from love, from being used." "She's not using me." Liam's voice rose. He never yelled at his mother. Never. But rage burned through his chest like fire. "She didn't even want my help at first. She's proud and strong, and she's been doing everything alone. She never asked me for money. Never asked for anything. Then why is she suddenly in your life now, right when she's pregnant? Because fate put her in my cab, because I ran into her by pure chance and realized I'd never stopped loving her." The words hung in the air between them. Eleanor's face went pale. "Liam, I love her, Mum. I love her, and I love the life she's building. And last night, when you accused her of terrible things, I should have defended her immediately. I should have chosen her without hesitation. But I froze. You were shocked. I was a coward." His voice cracked. "Fear made me hesitate. Fear of disappointing you. Fear of what people might think. But love requires courage, Mum, and I wasn't brave enough." Silence filled the room. Eleanor sank into a chair. Suddenly she looked older, smaller, tired. "I lost your father," she said quietly. "And then I lost you to your work. You built this empire, and I barely saw you for years. Now you're finally successful, finally stable. And I'm terrified of losing you again." Liam's anger softened, just slightly. "You won't lose me, won't I? Once that baby comes, once you're playing house with her, there won't be room for me." "That's not true, isn't it?" He knelt beside her chair, took her hands. "Mom, I'm choosing Jasmine. I'm choosing the life I want with her. But that doesn't mean I'm leaving you behind. It means I'm growing, building something bigger than just myself." Tears filled Eleanor's eyes. "What if she breaks your heart? Then I'll survive it. But what if she doesn't? What if this is real? What if I get to be happy?" Eleanor looked at him for a long moment. Then she squeezed his hands. "I was wrong," she whispered. "About her, about the things I said. I was cruel and judgmental, and I hurt someone you care about. Yes, you did. Will she forgive me? I don't know. But you need to apologize. Really apologize. Not for my sake, for hers." Eleanor nodded slowly. "I will. I'll make it right." "Good. Because I'm going to fix this, Mom, with or without your approval. I'm going to prove to Jasmine that I can be the man she deserves, and I'm not going to let fear win." He stood, headed for the door. "Liam," he turned back. "I hope she says yes," Eleanor said. "I hope you get your happy ending." For the first time in days, Liam smiled. Tyler found Jasmine on the bench outside her building. She sat with her face turned toward the weak afternoon sun, eyes closed, hands on her belly. "Hey," he said softly. She opened her eyes. "Hey, can I sit?" "It's a free bench." He sat. They watched cars pass on the street. A dog barked somewhere. Life continued around them like nothing had changed. But everything had changed. "I heard what happened," Tyler said. "With Liam. Dina told me." "Of course she did. Are you okay?" "I'm fine, Jazz." She sighed. "No, I'm not okay, but I will be." Tyler was quiet for a moment. Then, "Your heart belongs to him." "Tyler, it's okay. I already knew. I think I've always known." He smiled sadly. "You look at him the way I look at you, like he's the only person in the world." Tears pricked Jasmine's eyes. "I'm sorry. Don't be. You can't control who you love. Believe me, I've tried." A laugh escaped her, watery and broken. "Yeah? For years." He bumped her shoulder gently. "But I love you too much to watch you settle for anything less than what you really want. Even if what you really want isn't me. You're my best friend, Tyler. That means more than you know." "I know, and I'll always be your friend. Always." He stood, offered his hand, pulled her to her feet. "But if he hurts you again, I'm not going to be understanding. I'm going to break his nose." She laughed, a real laugh this time. "Deal." Tyler pulled her into a hug, held her tight, then stepped back. "For what it's worth, I think he loves you too. I think he's just figuring out how to be brave enough to show it. Maybe. Give him a chance to prove it. One more chance. And if he fails," Tyler shrugged, "then he's an idiot. And you're better off." He walked away. Jasmine watched him go, watched her oldest friend disappear around the corner. Her phone buzzed. She pulled it out. Another text from Liam. "Please, I'm begging you. Just let me explain. Let me fix this." Her thumb hovered over the delete button. Then slowly she typed, "I need time." 3 dots appeared immediately. "Liam, I'll give you all the time you need, but I'm not giving up. I'm not running. Not this time. Something warm unfurled in her chest, something that felt dangerously like hope. Rain started falling that evening, soft at first, then harder, drumming against windows, washing the city clean. Jasmine made herself dinner, tried to eat, gave up after 3 bites. She couldn't stop thinking about Liam, about his face when she left, about 47 missed calls, about the way he'd held her hand at the clinic and said, "Don't let go." A knock on the door made her jump. She wasn't expecting anyone. Mrs. Alvarez was visiting her sister. Dina had the night shift. Another knock, harder this time, urgent. Jasmine went to the door, looked through the peephole. Her heart stopped. Liam stood in the hallway, soaked to the bone, hair plastered to his forehead, breathing hard like he'd run up the stairs. She opened the door slowly. "Hi," he said. Water dripped from his clothes onto the floor. "You're wet." "I know." I walked. From my place. I needed to think, and then I needed to see you, and... He stopped, took a shaky breath. "Can I come in? Please?" She should say no, should protect her heart, should make him work harder, but he looked so broken, so desperate, so completely, thoroughly soaked. "Come in," she said quietly. He stepped inside, left puddles on her floor, stood shivering in her tiny entryway. "I'm sorry," he said. The words rushed out in a flood. "I'm so sorry, Jasmine. I should have defended you immediately. I should have told my mother to leave. I should have chosen you without hesitation. But I froze. Fear made me a coward, and I will regret that moment for the rest of my life." "Liam, please, let me finish." His voice cracked. "I confronted my mother, told her she was wrong about you, told her I was choosing you, choosing us, no matter what. And I meant it, I mean it. I know I failed you once, but I'm not going to fail you again." Tears slid down Jasmine's cheeks. "How do I know that? How do I know you won't freeze again the next time things get hard? You don't. I can't prove it with words. I can only prove it with actions, with showing up every day, every hard moment." He stepped closer. "I'm not asking you to trust me blindly. I'm asking you to let me earn it back, piece by piece, day by day. That could take a long time. I don't care. I'll take however long you need." The rain pounded against the windows. Thunder rumbled in the distance. Jasmine looked at him, really looked, saw the sincerity in his eyes, the determination in his jaw, the way he was shaking from cold or fear or both. "Love without courage is just performance," she said softly. "That's what you need to understand. I don't need grand gestures. I need you to be brave, to stand beside me even when it's uncomfortable, even when people judge, even when your mother disapproves. I will be. I am. I promise. Don't promise things you can't control." Then I promise to try, every single day, to be braver than I was yesterday. She closed her eyes, took a deep breath. When she opened them, she said, "Okay, okay, okay. We can try. Again. One more time." Relief crashed across his face like a wave. "Thank you. Thank you. I won't. I'll prove." "Liam, stop talking." "Right, sorry. Now go take a hot shower before you catch pneumonia." He laughed, a broken, joyful sound. "Can I?" "Bathroom's down the hall. Towels in the cabinet." He disappeared into the bathroom. Jasmine heard the water start, heard him moving around. She went to the kitchen, put on a kettle, made 2 mugs of hot cocoa. When he emerged 20 minutes later, clean and warm in borrowed sweatpants that were too short, she handed him a mug. "Thank you," he said quietly. They sat on the couch together, not quite touching, but close. The rain continued outside. The world felt smaller, safer. "I talked to my mother," Liam said. "She wants to apologize. To you. She knows what she said was wrong. Does she mean it?" "I think so. She's scared of losing me, of change. But that doesn't excuse her behavior." Jasmine sipped her cocoa. "I'm scared too." "Of what?" "Of hoping again. Of letting myself believe this could work. Because if it doesn't, if you leave or freeze or choose something else over me, I don't think I'll survive it a second time." Liam set down his mug, took her hand. "Then I won't leave. I won't freeze. I'll choose you. Every time. In every way. You can't promise that. Watch me." She wanted to believe him. Wanted it so desperately her chest ached. "Okay," she whispered. "Prove it." "I will." They sat in the quiet apartment as rain washed the world clean, as the baby kicked gently between them. As hope, fragile and new, began to bloom again. 3 days later, Jasmine's living room was crowded with people and tension. Rachel arrived first. She hugged Jasmine, gave Liam a look that could freeze fire, sat in the armchair and waited. Dina came next, brought cupcakes, kissed Jasmine's cheek, nodded at Liam without smiling. Mrs. Alvarez bustled in with her usual paper bags, made herself at home in the kitchen. Tyler arrived looking uncomfortable, shook Liam's hand stiffly, sat as far from him as possible. Then the doorbell rang one more time. Eleanor Hayes stood in the hallway, dressed simply, no jewelry, no armor, just a woman who looked tired and sorry. "Thank you for letting me come," she said to Jasmine. "Come in." The room went quiet as Eleanor entered. Everyone watched, waiting. Liam stood, moved to stand beside Jasmine. His hand found hers, squeezed gently. Eleanor looked around at the faces, at Rachel's protective glare, at Dinah's suspicion, at Mrs. Alvarez's patient wisdom. Then she looked at Jasmine. "I owe you an apology," Eleanor said. Her voice shook slightly. "What I said to you about using my son, about trapping him, it was cruel and baseless and wrong. I was afraid of losing Liam to someone new, afraid of change. But that doesn't excuse my behavior." Jasmine stayed quiet, waiting. "You've done nothing but try to build a life for yourself and your baby," Eleanor continued. "You've worked hard, stayed strong. And my son is lucky, so lucky, that you're giving him another chance. I hope," she swallowed hard, "I hope someday you might give me a chance too, to prove I can be better than the woman you met that night." Silence filled the room. Rachel spoke first. "My daughter has a good heart, maybe too good, but she's not stupid. You hurt her badly, and if you hurt her again, or if your son hurts her, you'll answer to all of us." "I understand," Eleanor said. "Do you?" Rachel stood, walked over, looked Eleanor directly in the eye. "Because Jasmine is my whole world, she and that baby, and I will protect them with everything I have." "As you should," Eleanor said quietly, "as I would have done for Liam, as I failed to do properly." She turned back to Jasmine. "I can't undo what I said, but I can try to do better going forward, if you'll let me." Jasmine looked at Liam. He nodded slightly, supporting her, whatever she decided. "Okay," Jasmine said finally. "We can try. But respect goes both ways. You respect me and my choices. I'll respect you." "Fair enough." Eleanor sat. The tension in the room loosened, just slightly. Mrs. Alvarez appeared with tea and cookies. Dina started telling a ridiculous story from work. Tyler relaxed inch by inch, and slowly, carefully, the gathered families began to talk, to laugh, to find common ground. Liam squeezed Jasmine's hand. She squeezed back. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't easy. But it was a start. And sometimes a start was all you needed. 2 days later, Jasmine and Liam walked through the park near her apartment. The afternoon sun felt warm on their faces. The baby was particularly active today, kicking and turning like a tiny gymnast. "What about Alexander?" Liam suggested. "For a boy? Too formal. Marcus? Maybe. What about for a girl? I always liked Naomi." Jasmine smiled. "That's pretty. I like it too." They walked in comfortable silence. Leaves crunched under their feet. A street musician played guitar somewhere nearby. Then Jasmine's foot caught on an uneven piece of sidewalk. She stumbled, started to fall. Liam caught her instantly, his arms around her waist, steady and sure. "I've got you," he said. Her heart pounded. "Thanks. You okay? Is the baby—" A sharp cramp seized her belly. Jasmine gasped, pressed her hand to her stomach. "Jasmine!" Panic flooded Liam's voice. "I'm okay, just give me a second." She breathed through it, slow and steady. The cramp faded. The baby kicked reassuringly. "We should go to the hospital," Liam said. "No, I'm fine. It was just a cramp. It happens sometimes." "Are you sure?" "Yes. Let's sit for a minute." They found a bench, sat close together. Liam kept his arm around her shoulders. "You scared me," he said. "I scared myself. I don't know what I'd do if something happened to you, to either of you." She looked at him, saw genuine fear in his eyes, genuine love. "Nothing's going to happen. We're okay. Promise. I promise." A busker played a lullaby nearby. The melody drifted through the afternoon air, sweet and hopeful. "I've been thinking about names," Jasmine said. "What if we choose 2? One for a boy, one for a girl? That way, we're ready either way." "Okay, what do you like?" They talked through options, laughed at the ridiculous ones, argued gently about the serious ones. Finally, they settled on 2 names they both loved, names that felt right, that felt like home. "No matter what," Liam said softly. "No matter if the baby's a boy or girl, no matter what comes, I'm here, for all of it. Promise? I promise. No secrets, no half defenses, no running, just us, facing everything together. The sun broke through the clouds. Light spilled across the park like a blessing. Jasmine leaned her head on his shoulder, felt the steady beat of his heart, felt the baby move between them, and for the first time in forever, she let herself believe, really, truly believe. The baby shower was small and perfect. Jasmine's living room was decorated with simple paper garlands. Cupcakes covered the counter, presents piled in the corner. Tyler arrived first, brought a children's book about stars, hugged Jasmine carefully. "You look happy," he said. "I am." "Good, that's good." Dina came with bags of tiny onesies. Mrs. Alvarez brought a handmade quilt, soft and warm and stitched with love. Rachel and Eleanor arrived together, which was surprising. They'd been talking on the phone, trying to find common ground for Jasmine's sake. It wasn't friendship yet, but it was progress. Everyone gathered in the small space, talking, laughing, sharing stories and advice. Then Liam appeared beside Jasmine. He held a small envelope. "I wanted to give you this," he said, in front of everyone, so they could witness it too. She took the envelope, opened it carefully. Inside was a handwritten letter. His neat script covered both sides of the paper. "Jasmine, I don't have the words to tell you everything you mean to me, but I can try. I admire your strength, the way you face impossible things and keep going. I admire your kindness, the way you see the best in people even when they don't deserve it. I admire your courage, the way you're building a life for your baby with nothing but determination and love. You make me want to be better, braver, more honest. I know I failed you once, but I'm going to spend every day proving that I won't fail you again. I love you, I think I always have. Liam." Tears streamed down Jasmine's face. She looked up at him through blurred vision. "I love you too," she whispered. The room erupted in cheers and applause. Dina whooped. Mrs. Alvarez dabbed her eyes. Even Rachel smiled. Then Jasmine reached into her pocket, pulled out a small ribbon. Tied to it was a house key. "This is my key," she said, "to my apartment, to my life. I'm giving it to you because I trust you, because I believe you when you say you'll show up. But Liam," she held his gaze, "come in as your best self, every time, not just when it's easy, when it's hard too. I will," he promised, "every day, my best self for you." He took the key, held it like it was made of gold. Then, in front of everyone, he kissed her, soft and sweet and full of promise. They stood at the window later, arms around each other. City lights spreading below like constellations. "This is it," Jasmine said softly. "This is everything I wanted. Me too. Are you scared?" "Terrified, but in a good way." She laughed, leaned into his warmth, felt complete for the first time in years. Behind them, their families talked and laughed, building bridges, creating foundations. Outside, the city breathed and glowed and promised tomorrow. Inside, love, hard won and twice earned, filled every corner. The baby came 4 weeks later. Late at night when the city was quiet, Jasmine's water broke at 2 in the morning. She called Liam first. He answered before the first ring finished. "I'm coming," he said. "I'm on my way." He arrived in 15 minutes, hair wild, shirt inside out, eyes bright with fear and excitement. They drove to the birthing center together. His hand never left hers. Rachel met them there, then Eleanor, then Mrs. Alvarez, who'd somehow heard through the neighborhood grapevine. The labor was long, painful, exhausting, but Liam stayed beside Jasmine through all of it, held her hand, whispered encouragement, never once looked away. "You're doing amazing," he said. "So strong, so brave. I can't do this." "Yes, you can. You're already doing it." Hours passed. Day broke outside. Light filtered through the windows. And then, finally, a baby's cry pierced the air. Strong, healthy, perfect. "It's a girl," the midwife said. Jasmine sobbed with relief and joy and exhaustion. Liam cried openly. They placed the baby on Jasmine's chest. Tiny fingers curled, tiny eyes blinked open. "Hello, sweetheart," Jasmine whispered. "Hello, Naomi. We've been waiting for you." Liam touched the baby's hand carefully, like she might break. Naomi gripped his finger with surprising strength. "She's perfect," he breathed. "Absolutely perfect." Rachel and Eleanor were allowed in. They stood together at the foot of the bed, tears streaming down both their faces. "My grandbaby," Rachel said. "She's beautiful," Eleanor agreed. Mrs. Alvarez peeked in, blew a kiss, whispered a blessing. The morning sun filled the room, warm and golden and full of promise. Jasmine looked at Liam, at the way he gazed at Naomi with complete wonder, at the love shining in his eyes. "Thank you," she said, "for being here, for staying. There's nowhere else I'd ever want to be, even when it gets hard, especially then." She believed him, because he'd proven it, day after day, choice after choice. He'd shown up, stood beside her, chosen love over fear. Naomi yawned, a tiny, perfect yawn that made them both laugh. "Welcome to the world, little one," Liam whispered. "Your mama and we're going to love you so much, and we're going to show you that when people choose each other courageously, when they face their fears with honesty and grace, beautiful things can bloom." Jasmine's heart swelled, overflowed with more love than she knew was possible. Outside, the city woke to a new day, full of noise and chaos and endless possibility. Inside, a family, new and fragile and strong, held each other close. They'd traveled through storms, through heartbreak and hesitation, through fear and doubt and shattered hope, but they'd found their way back to each other, not because it was easy, but because they chose it, every single day. And in that choosing, in that brave, terrifying, beautiful choosing, they found home. Epilogue. 6 months later, Jasmine stood in her small kitchen. Naomi babbled in her bouncer. Liam chopped vegetables for dinner. It was an ordinary evening, nothing special, nothing grand, just the three of them, together. "She's getting so big," Liam said, glancing at Naomi. "I know. Too fast. Do you ever think about—" He hesitated. "About having more? Someday?" Jasmine smiled. "Maybe. Someday. But let's survive this one first." He laughed, crossed to her, kissed her forehead. "I love you," he said, simply, truly. "I love you too," Naomi squealed, reaching for them both, wanting to be included. Liam scooped her up, spun her gently. She giggled, that pure, joyful sound that made everything else fade away. Jasmine watched them, her heart so full it hurt. This was it. This was everything. Not perfect, not easy, but real and honest, and built on courage instead of fear. Love wasn't about grand gestures or expensive gifts. It was about showing up, about choosing each other when things got hard, about building something together, brick by brick, day by day. It was about believing that second chances could become first homes. Liam caught her eye, smiled, mouthed, "Thank you." She smiled back, mouthed, "Always." Outside, the city hummed with life. Inside, a family chosen and fought for and deeply loved made dinner together. And in that simple, beautiful moment, everything was exactly as it should be.